Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to just talk about motivations to get you to work out. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes. Also check out my books, which you can find on Amazon. If you like podcasts, I have The Awakened Man, which is very health related. And I also have the Cinema Rag, both of which you can find on Apple and Spotify. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. Now, motivation can be hard, especially motivation to work out can be hard if you're depressed. So if you are somebody who is overweight or are depressed for other issues in your life, when the morning sun comes up, like Annie always says, the sun will always come out no matter what, you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to work out. I don't like working out. I don't want to work out. I just don't want to do it. And the longer the day goes, it builds up. It builds up, right? So how do you motivate yourself? And look, let's back it up. You don't need to work out to lose weight and to maintain weight. You don't. The aforementioned are mostly choices, dietary choices that you make. But working out certainly helps. And I would say that there's other ancillary benefits to working out. The mental health aspects of it, the endorphins that you get after working out makes you feel good. Also, you just feel good because you've worked out. And it can keep you off antidepressants, right? By doing the workout. And just, it's good for heart health. It's good for every part of health. Okay, so it's good for you. So I think that's not the problem though, because intellectually you might know, yeah, I know working out's good for me, but you don't want to do it. And then you start making excuses. Well, I got to do this. I got to do this chore. I got to do this on the computer. I got to do excuses, always excuses. And the excuses will build up as the day goes on because you really don't want to do it. You know, when there's a will, there's a way. You know the old saying, you really just don't want to do it. So you're coming up with excuses. That's why for me personally, I like to work out early. Now look, I'm recording this around 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. By this point, actually it's like 10:30 I would say by now. Yeah. At this point, I'm already at the gym and Saturday is typically a run day. If I have my kids, I can't work out because I have 4 kids and they don't have a daycare. But I'd be running. Now I'm a little late. I've been doing podcast recordings, other things like that. But even for me, where it's wired, I don't like it where it's this late in the day and I haven't worked out. Now, some people like to work out in the afternoons. We have an episode here, should you work out in the morning, should you work out in the afternoons? I think a lot of that is really contingent on your schedule. I would tell you in terms overall what the studies show, it's better to do in the morning if you're fasting, especially if you're fasting too. And I fast when I work out in the morning because I don't eat till 3. But if you can't work out in the morning for a variety of reasons, then it is what it is. And you work out in the afternoon, just work out. But I would tell you, if you have the choice, work out in the morning. Now, that can mean going to the gym at 6 in the morning. Or whenever if you work virtually or if you have a flexible schedule, maybe it doesn't have to be 6 in the morning, but maybe that means 6 o'clock. Now, how do I motivate myself and how do you motivate yourself? For me, it's a little different. It's just so wired into me. And I wouldn't say I'm an exercise addict. I would say that it's just part of the routine that I have built up, the buildup of, we talked about before, the buildup of virtue versus the buildup of vice, where it's so wired into me to do it that I will do it. And there'll be days where I don't feel like it, like today, especially as the day goes on, or maybe you don't feel like it because you're sick, or maybe you don't feel like it because you're depressed, or maybe you don't feel like it because, I got an hour, how can I fit this in? And so you're looking for reasons. You're looking for reasons not to do it. And I would tell you, look, whether it be weight loss, whether it be weight maintenance, whatever it is, you got to get it done. You got to get it done. You want to get it done. Not just because it helps you with the weight loss, but also because, again, it makes you feel good. The endorphin high, especially if it's cardio related, but even with strength training, both of them, it makes you feel better to do it. So for me, the motivation is not a problem. I've been doing this at least 4 times a week since Papa Bush was president. Okay, I've been doing this since 1990. And as long as I don't have an injury, and we've talked about should you work out your injury and other things, that aside from that, And aside from traveling, like when I was in Europe not that long ago, I will pretty much be working out every day. How can you get to that point? How can you build that up in your point? Well, I don't know. Everyone's different. I would tell you that you typically, when you do go to the gym, you do feel better after you do it, just because you just feel like accomplished, but also because of the feeling you get from the actual working out. So I would remind you that you do feel better after you do it. So that's a kind of a reminder. And look, we all can feel it. Like, I don't want to go. Like, let's say if it's a run day for me, I'm like, God, I do not feel like doing it. And right now I'm just talking because I just don't want to go. I feel like doing it. And then once you get going, it's almost like when it comes to sex. Sometimes with women, they don't want to have sex, but once they start having sex, they're like, okay. It's just once you start doing it, it's just like, okay. And then you just get through it. And look, it might not be your best workout. Maybe you didn't lift your best, or maybe you didn't run your best, or row your best, or whatever you like to do. Maybe it's not your best time, or close to your best time. But hey, at least you did it. And that's one day checklist off, and then you go to the next day. Ultimately, though, you do want to find a way where you just like it. And you do it in a way where I don't want to live a life where I'm not doing this. And you like it. And so it's kind of like with work, right? If you have a job that you really like and it gives you a purpose, you're more likely to love that job and do that job. And it's kind of the same thing with working out. Everybody's different. I've talked about, should you do like a running group, run with friends, or a workout group like a CrossFit? It's really up to you. I don't like group exercise. That's not me. I like being the lone wolf, just running alone with music. But hey, everybody's different. I don't like to lift weights with my buddies. It's just, to me, I like to be very quick and efficient with my time when I'm at the gym. But whatever it is, find your motivation that gets you to go. And yes, intellectually, you could think of all the good reasons why you should work out, but ultimately, motivation is such a peculiar thing. You have to find out what it is. Like, for example, I don't know if I mentioned this before when I'm running. To get me to get motivated, sometimes I'm like, okay, if I don't beat my best time or under a certain amount of time, the entire world is watching, televise my run. And if I don't hit this criteria, all these bad things happen to people in the world. That motivates me. That doesn't motivate most people. I know people who run their podcasts or don't even run to music or whatever, but that motivates me. And that's what separates, because think about it, if you work out 5-6 times a day, 52 weeks a year for a decade, you got to follow whatever motivates you. So this is what motivates me. It's like, oh my God. Or I'll be like, if I do this time, everybody who's an atheist will come back to Christ. Some like big investment that I have in it. And that helps me. And that motivates me. So in closing, find what motivates you, but get up and work out. Even if the workout's not the best, you'll feel better. So now I'm going to end this video so I can go run. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.